Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Iowa soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett, your Soccer Talk co-host, alongside my good buddy Blake Sievers. Siebes, how are you today?
I'm good. You know, I was on the phone this morning and somebody asked how I was doing. And we haven't done many weather reports lately, but it's so much more enjoyable when you wake up and it's 70 degrees out. It just makes the day off to a good start. So I'm doing good. Pods are coming hot and heavy.
That's right. Yeah, and of course, we're joined by Matt Sahag, also known as the Titan Tactician. Matthew, good morning.
Good morning.
Plug the YouTube real quick. We got a comment about the stash BB. I like it. So tune into the YouTube page. We're going to talk about some videos, some video analysis, some goals, some defending, some soccer stuff, but involving video. So get on the YouTube.
Yeah, the question is do we want to start on the boys' side or the girls' side? The girls' side is going to be the analysis side, and the boys' side we're going to run through the rankings and some different results. And what do you think? What do you want to do first, boys?
Let's start with the girls.
Ladies first.
Okay, what game? So we got two games we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Southeast Polk and Waukee, and then Dowling and Centennial.
Yeah. Doesn't matter to me. Once you guys let's talk about our game last night, Dowling Centennial. Might as well do that, right? Well, we have all the listeners. Some people might tune out after a few minutes. So let's talk about the most important game of the night across the state last night, which was Dowling Centennial at Dowling at home. Centennial came into our place. They're ranked number 3 in the state, and so it was set up to be a really tough test for us, and it was a good game. I was really proud of our girls. We've had a stretch of not the best results as of late. We've got some injuries in the team that have stopped us from being at full strength here in the last several games, and so for us, the most important thing about last night was for us to get a good performance, especially leading into the CIML conference schedule, because every single game we've got here on out is very, very tough.
Our good friend of the pod, Brian Duax, calls the CIML the buzzsaw because every game is a tough game.
Yep.
So,
Let's talk real quick, Ben. Matt alluded to it a little bit, but Centennial comes into the game not having lost, right? Winning 5-0, 2-1, 5-0. So they've put in a good couple shifts, and then, like you said, Matt, you guys have been kind of on the slide, not picking up a win for quite a few games now. So no, it's just the reality. It's the reality.
It's true. Sometimes the truth hurts.
So it's as the result. You look at the result. 2-1 to Centennial.
It's good. It looks good on paper, at least as far, like you didn't give up a bunch of goals or anything.
Right. Well, I'll be interested in your guys' kind of take on the goals.
So we're doing a little role reversal here.
Yeah, right. And because I'd like to show the girls here a little bit of input from a couple of guys who played and I know what it looks like. I certainly know what I think of the goals that we gave up, but we start the scoring and we go up 1-0 pretty early on in the game, and so and we just did really well to fight for 50-50 balls, anticipate second balls, get in starting positions, not make silly errors. Throughout the majority of the game, obviously we had a couple of slip-ups. I would say that, Centennial is a more athletic team than us. They like to put the ball in dangerous areas. And so we were defending a lot inside of our own 18-yard box. There were a lot of corners in the game. And we knew that game was going to kind of, be like that. They've got a player, Evie Boyle, at the back who serves everything in and just puts it in the danger zone. Or she takes long throw-ins and puts them straight into the box. So a ton of aerial balls that you have to contest with. And, the reality is, I think, sort of not trying to downplay the women's side of the game, but aerial balls are a problem, right? Because a lot of people don't want to head the ball. And I thought our team did great to challenge the ball most of the time. Obviously, you always want to get the result, especially when the number 3 team comes into your place. But all in all, it was a pretty good performance.
To be fair to some of these young ladies, they're a little, they pay more attention to like the stats and things like that than the boys probably. And, they're a little more cognizant maybe of their brains. I don't know, just a thought. And, you're not allowed to teach heading until they're a little older. So like, you don't learn it quite the same way that we used to.
All right.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just different now.
That's no reason not to be able to want to head a ball. Sorry.
Fair enough.
Let's get
into it. So
yeah.
This certainly isn't a debate that we're gonna have on the pod.
So yeah, I mean, I sent you guys the Centennial's 2 goals. So I'm pulling up the
First one,
Yeah, the first one.
long throw in the
So
box.
this is from the Boyle, right? The one you had mentioned, Matt, with the long
Yeah,
throw?
right.
So immediately goes right into the danger, like you said, area.
Yep.
Dowling clears it. We'll break it down here in a minute. Gives up a silly foul. And to me, you're 35 yards out. You can't give away a foul in this area. You're just going to have to deal with some silliness. They play it quick. Nobody's paying attention. Ball in, ball back in the net.
Pretty good finish. But if you watch it back, so let's just kind of talk it through as the foul happened. The throw goes into the box, ball gets cleared.
We'll go back, Ben, real quick. So the throw in goes. They throw it past their target, and it bounces in, or it gets. I don't know. Is that?
It's headed.
It's headed. The goalie probably just collects it, I think. But
Well, so anyway, it gets recycled. Centennial does a good job of recycling, kind of looking like they're going to use the ball again, and then just kind of a silly foul, and then watch all the Dowling players just walk away. No one's facing, not a single player's facing the ball, except the goalkeeper. Short.
I mean, Matt,
Free kick.
where do you want us to start at this? Because never take your eyes off the ball.
Right.
Don't foul.
Yeah.
Don't let the ball roll through the top of the penalty area.
And how much time is left in the half?
So there's about 6 minutes left in the half here, right? Yeah. So I mean, I would say like let's start with the throw in, right? So the ball comes into the box. I mean, there's only 2 Centennial players in the box, right? To our 5, so it's pretty crowded in there. But I don't know. What would you guys like to see the goalkeeper do here? Keeper.
Come get it.
Yeah, I think so. The second thing, I mean, you can talk about the header. What do you think of the header?
I mean, it's obviously not a great header, but it does the trick. But it's low and to the top of the box, so in theory, somebody should be there to like
I'm
smash
surprised
it to the
Centennial
roof.
doesn't
Right.
have more players in that area
Right.
for the second ball, right?
Right. But the rule when you head the ball is you head the ball back where it came from,
Yeah.
right? So
Up and away,
yeah,
out and away.
up and away, exactly. So I think I like how she got her head on the ball, but it's got to be up and away, right? Okay. And so then what about ball rose edge of the box? What do you think of that?
Yeah, this one's you got to get a touch on it, and if you do, you turn, and now you guys are actually countering potentially completely out of it.
Right. So, I mean, there's, you talk about, there's 3 different things there. If the keeper just shouts keeper, if it's L comes and gets it, boom, we're out, right? We're out of trouble. If you head it back where it came from, that's number 2, right? You're out of trouble. 3, if you just control the ball here, you're out of trouble. And then here's the next one here too, which is the foul.
And I'm assuming she's going to cross it. Centennial has 1 player in the box.
Right.
You have 3. So even if she does get a service in, 1 against 3, I like my chances.
Right. What would you tell so this is Natalie. What would you tell Natalie about how she pressures the ball here? Like, how would you fix that?
I just can't see where you're at here.
So here comes the ball to the left, and she comes and pressures the ball.
It's late pressure.
A little bit
Yeah,
late.
It doesn't slow down.
And it's also like she's not pushing her one way or the other. She's just stabbing.
Right.
She could just slow down and push her one way or the other. Literally, it wouldn't matter which way as long as she just slowed down.
So, I mean, I think that's the biggest point is once you get to the ball, you can't overcommit yourself, right? So there's got to be pressure on the ball, but then you've got to slow down. If she slows down, that first touch doesn't beat her. And then I like your point about just shape it one way. I mean, she's obviously right-footed, right?
That's what make her go down the line.
So just angle of approach, slow down, and like you said, make her down the line. That's the next one. So, all right. So I think that's number 4. That's the 4th error we could have fixed. Let's go with the free kick now.
Well, so first of all, the person that made the foul could like stand in front of the ball and go just chat with the person she just fouled and just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you okay?" and just kind of like slow the game down there. Everybody walks away from it. Then the person who goes to pressure the ball turns her back when the ball gets served.
It's pretty good by Centennial to play quick.
Oh,
actually,
absolutely.
I like it.
I was going to say to them, if I'm Chris Allen, I'm going, ladies, this is excellent because they're taking advantage of a team that's not paying attention. They're playing quick, early service into the box, good finish.
Yeah.
And then nobody marks up though either,
Yeah.
right? The girl that scores, like you said, somebody said good finish. I mean, it
Yeah.
should be when you're inside the penalty area with nobody around.
Yeah. So the
And then,
go ahead.
I was going to say, then you and I talked about this earlier, Matt. If you slow it down and you kind of start breaking down player by player, Centennial, one of their best players is Postma, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she basically, like after the foul, walks from or jogs from one side of the box to the other, and then kind of just plants herself at the top of the box, and no one points at her, nobody grabs a hold of her, nobody follows her, and that's one of those like. If you know, I'm assuming you guys talked about their danger players, and so if you've got danger players, you just like set pieces the first time. It's like, okay, well, who's in charge of Postma? Okay, you go stand next to her and hold her hand and make sure that she does not score.
Right. And so I think it's. So stop. So I think it's a number of different things there, but the first point I like you guys made is, and I didn't think of this one, is just stand on the ball, right? Like you've got to start to try and control the tempo of the restart, and so all we're doing is everyone's looking the other way, so nobody's thinking about where Centennial's players are running. We're just not, and then we're not even facing the ball. So I think the first thing is stop the ball. Second thing is turn around and face the ball. Like you can't, in that scenario, you cannot be not looking at the ball. Ever. Like, I mean, should there be any players in that scenario not looking at the ball? I don't think so.
No.
Right.
And then like you guys said too, like, I mean, Postman is their best player. And I think because our reaction is not what's happening next, everybody's just watching the ball and the quick restart, surprised by it. So nobody's looking at what Postman's doing. And she scores the type of goals that she scores, in a lot of cases. So, that's probably 6 or 7 errors by us. That's a 40-second clip, and so huge learning moments for us. But if you think about that, I mean, to me, that's a self-inflicted goal.
Yeah, those are all quote unforced errors, right, Blake?
Yeah.
Fixable.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so
that's great. Okay, so then you guys go down 1-0. There's
That's
you're
actually
up,
1-1.
Okay, so you're up 1-0. Then you give up a goal with 6-ish minutes left in the first half, which is a bummer. Then you keep it tight all the way to the end of the second half and give up a goal with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left or so, 41 seconds, something like that.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, I can play it. I can start it here for you guys.
So when you send us this clip, like it's right in front of the scoreboard is the vantage point that we've got, and the first thing I noticed was how much time was left, and was like, oh wow, they were closer for a lot longer. And no offense, but I was kind of expecting Centennial to give you guys a little beatdown.
Fair enough. Yeah, and this is good. But I mean, aren't you a big first 5, last 5
Oh
guy
yeah,
as well?
It's like
right?
So I was disappointed when the first goal you guys conceded was 6 minutes
I know,
left
it's
in
so
the first
close.
half.
But yeah, I mean, and especially so you're 1-1 against one of the top ranked teams in the state. They're dangerous. You know how much time's left. To me, like now you're just like heightened a little bit, right? You should be a little bit more, focused, trying just a little bit harder, even if you weren't like, you should be trying hard all the time, but then all of a sudden now you're like, ooh, I better really dial it in. And you're probably tired, so you need to dial it in.
Yep. So watching it, is it a throw-in or is that a free kick?
Yeah, sorry, I'll back it up again. It's a throw-in.
Another long throw.
Yep. Into the box.
Wins the first ball, but same thing, kind of knocks it down to the top
Man,
of the box.
it is like watching this again. The first header, straight down inside the box. Centennial finally has somebody. Whoever, I don't know who scores, but she's in a good spot to win the second one. But the first header, oh man, it's going to be.
Well, and then
not fun to watch it.
So that's what we would call the first ball, right? They win the first ball.
Yeah.
But then you also, especially if it's not a great clearance, there is a second ball. So you got to be prepared to react to that, and it doesn't look like any Maroon players react.
See that stab there?
Really at all.
Yeah.
And the person that scores, I can't tell what number it is, but she's super quick to react and just. Kind of Johnny on the spot, if you would.
Yeah.
Smashes it.
Great finish.
Yeah. I mean, what I'll say is what I like about, so it's not a great header here by us, but you see the Centennial player go up there for the header? That's why you challenge headers.
So, Matt, on that note, yes, correct. Did you guys have, I can't tell from the angle, somebody in front of her and somebody behind her? Because, again, it's 1v2.
Right.
You guys should easily win the ball if it's the first, but it doesn't look like.
Right. Well, that's a good point. So look at the starting position of the player marking her. So, I think that's the first point, right? These are the little details, but if you look at our player compared to where she's at, like you've got to be goal side there. So it's goal side so that you're putting that, because if she's putting that player off, she's making, Julia Shoup's header easier. So that's the first problem. And then...
Also, if you have somebody that's good in the air, a really good way to neutralize them is to put somebody in front and behind them. Is if you're decent in the air, there's no bigger pain in the butt than somebody standing in front of you.
Yeah.
But worst. I like the Centennial girl, right? Probably doesn't really have a good chance of winning it, but guess what? She goes and competes.
It's all the difference, like getting the ball in the danger area and then competing for the ball. Like that is literally so, because then it's that first ball, because the second ball is where the action happens, right? Especially in a long throw-in like that, you're rarely going to have a first ball that goes into the goal, right? It's the knockdown that happens. So
there's not enough pace on a throw-in to really score, right? But you win or compete for the first and collect the second, and there you go.
Yeah.
The other. First five, last five is one of my big ones. But the other one this brings to mind is 99% concentration equals 100% failure, which I hate, but also is such a good one because you guys you switched off for 2 minutes of the game, it looks like. Because, presumably you were good for the balance of the game otherwise.
Yeah, we were.
So that's the part that's frustrating is you finally put together an almost full performance and then somebody loses a couple little people lose their concentration. The whole team, in one sense, loses their concentration.
Yeah. Well, I would look at. See, I've got it frozen right here. Right, 4 seconds in to the clip. This is where you can see her. She's just headed the ball. Look at the rest of the players. Like, look. To me, how would you get? What feedback would you guys give them? You've got one player up here, right, and then you've got 3 inside the box. What feedback would you give them?
You have to be. Ball goes forward, don't you have to be sprinting and blocking every shot?
Yes.
As fast as you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just look at everybody's posture and their body language. It doesn't look very. And obviously we're looking at a still from however far away, but the person that gets beat for that second ball, I can't tell who it is, but.
They're in a reactionary.
Oh yeah, they're just chilling, watching the game. That's what they look like.
Right.
Just ooh, okay, this isn't coming to me at all. Walking. Ooh, crap, there it is. Oh, darn. Oh, now really double darn. And then I watch everybody's reaction. There's a little bit of, oh no, but then everybody kind of yeah, no, they're pretty. People are upset.
Frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Because it's preventable.
Right. The piece I look at is when when we had the ball there, if you look at the body shape of our player on the edge of the box and the three in the box, they are watching the ball, and there are 4 Ankeny players that are threatening to score. And so as a player, you've got to be able to see your mark and the ball at the same time. And so when you're just watching the ball, you're basically in a trance, standing still, and everything is moving around you.
Ball watching.
Right, which is why, when our player on the edge of the box is looking at the ball, that's why she gets beat. Right, but the ball could have landed and gone to any one of those 3 players. We're watching the ball, not watching the runners, and so we're always going to be a little bit late. And so I think that's one of the biggest issues. And then the final one for me is right before she strikes it, do you see our player kind of put a foot in?
Yeah.
That's where the real effort comes into place. I mean, what would, Ben, if you were a defender in the box there with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left, and you were the closest to the ball and you see her leg swing back, I mean, what are you doing there?
I'm getting myself a nice little raspberry on my shin because I'm going to slide across and probably block it.
Yeah. Your entire body, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a committed tackle, right? And so that's the difference, though, right? Like, you got to go to ground there. You've got to try to win the ball and tackle the ball.
Well, and
Centennial is sprinting. I mean, she's committed. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
The girl that scores. Who is it? Does anybody know who scores? Do we know the winner? No. Okay.
I don't know who that was. It might be Unbound now.
Well, and the player that doesn't make that tackle, I think, is a player who has aspirations to continue playing, right? So, it's one of those, if you're going to be a good midfield player that's good on the ball and crafty and technical and stuff, you don't really have a place unless you can also, tackle and, defend and do the stuff that's required.
Right. So I want to back it up real quick, too. So right before the throw-in happens, look at how we're set up a little bit, too. Specifically, do you see the 2 players, one on around the 10-yard line to the left of the screen, and then this is always going to be a long throw, right? And so the question then is, well, what are those 2 players doing anywhere but inside the box to want to win the ball? You know what I mean? So from the start too, we're not anticipating where the ball's going to land, and that's another just switch off. It's that ball is, and you guys don't know this, but that ball on long throw-ins has come into the box probably 10 to 15 times already. To the point where I actually asked the referee to watch the player's back leg because she was. I would have been doing the same thing, right? Just lumping it in there and probably taking a chance that the referee didn't see the bad throw-in. But it's just a switch-off moment for us.
Emery Becker.
Okay.
So, committed, scores. And
Great strike. Well, so now that we've fully analyzed those 2 goals, you can take that back to the Maroons. Is there anything else you'd like us to pick apart for you really quick before we...
maybe my dogs to stop barking.
Yeah.
That's a good one, though. If there's somebody out there wants to get analyzed, send it to us and...
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you want your kids to hear it from somebody else, and get them put on blast, we're happy to do so, in a pretty nice way, I would say.
Yeah.
So we don't have new girls rankings, but Blake, you said you went and saw. You're driving by the Southeast Polk Stadium a lot these days, so you saw them play against Waukee, another top-ranked team, right?
Yeah, top 5. And you know what I thought was interesting? I'd be curious, Matt, on your thoughts. But, Ben, I didn't know it, so I'm guessing you don't either. There is, and it sounds like it's common, but the JV was before. There was only 15 minutes on the clock between the JV game and the varsity kickoff.
Wow.
No, and so, I don't know, Matt, if that's common or not. I was talking to Joe about it last night. He's like, is this common? He said, yeah. And I was like, well, that's, again, just something interesting. And I don't know if there's a solution because but there's nowhere to properly warm up and do stuff. So that was my first kind of takeaway.
It becomes a lot of a timing issue, right? Because you've got, sometimes you've got JV2, JV1, and then varsity. And then, for us, even last night, our JV2 game was on the grass fields on the west side of the school. The JV1 game was on the turf, followed by the varsity game, and so some of the JV2 players that have come across. But then you got to keep things moving, right? I mean, you've seen some of these Des Moines Metro School games start at 7:45, even being the clock. It's because the JV game's first, and they're not getting the second game going. So I think it's just a timing issue, and it's something they've got to deal with as players. There's places. I mean, you can still warm off to the side. I get it. It's a truncated warm up, but if you're the home
just
team,
something
especially-
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just interesting.
Like, I mean, sometimes like what we'll do is we'll warm up in the school, like get our dynamic warm up in, and then so then we're utilizing the 15 minutes or 20 minutes you've got, in a more efficient fashion. But it is shorter sometimes.
Okay, Steve. So you had one thing you really wanted to hammer on about this game.
What I forgot now. Was it how like beasts and how physical and committed?
So tell us about the game. How about that?
I mean, Waukee was different class, different level, however, whatever you want to describe. Biggest thing, I mean, you want to talk about committed and just, again.
You said there were a bunch of girls that competed.
Yeah, absolutely. Every 50-50 ball, they ran through.
This is the Waukee, the Warriors.
Warriors, yeah, the old school Waukee.
Yep.
Pretty impressed with them.
Nice.
Yeah, so they ended up winning 5-0, rightfully so. Southeast Polk, I think, kind of to your point, Matt, had a few injuries. Super, super young. We saw a few of the girls, Ben, a couple weeks ago, or we all did at the futsal event. But you've got, I think, in the front and the back of Waukee, you've got JoJo Mulehop, who is going to North Dakota. There you go. And then Stella in the back going to South Dakota State, I think.
Or is she going to UNI? I don't know.
Wherever, but you got two girls that are quite good. So real quick, let's talk about the second goal, right? That
this was the thing
preventable
we wanted to focus
goal.
on. Yes.
Again.
And it's interesting because if you watched our last pod, we were talking about playing out of the back in a positive way. So what, you want to break down this clip for us, Siebes?
Well, yeah, that's a Titan tactician, I think, it's his job, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So basically it's a goal kick for Southeast Polk.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to break this down.
So they've tried to play long. And before, you can see they're trying to play long, and just look at their shape, right? They are asking for trouble. Because Waukee puts a girl right on top of the box. Nobody's near her.
And then she looped who is that the scores the goal?
It was really good.
It was really good.
She drags it back and clips it over the goalkeeper. But again, you want to talk about preventable stuff, kind of like you had talked about, Matt. Is just like look at Southeast Polk's shape.
Well, and so Siebes, what are you trying to get at here, though? So you think they're playing long here? It's just a bad ball out of the back, and then why do they have players in the box and stuff? So it looks like they're set up.
I mean, that's a question.
Okay,
I don't know.
So to me, without knowing anything, right? To me, it looks like they're setting up to play out of the back.
Yep.
And then,
but they're trying to play it long.
Well, right, but the setup looks like they're trying to play out of the
Correct.
back.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
short,
then,
right. Yep.
And then it looks like the goalie says, I'm going to hoof it, and she doesn't clear that first player, and then it's sort of just like, got to put the fire out, and then I guess the thing that's maybe the most concerning is the goalkeeper who makes the initial mistake with the clearance or on the goal kick. Like, to me, I'm getting back on my line. And it looks like she's just sort of like, oh, this is fine.
Well, it's just communication, I think, too, right? If she said, I'm going to play it long, fair enough. Guess what we're going to do then, Southeast
Step
Polk?
up
Get up in and get
in.
against players.
Yeah.
Because the ball cannot come back at us. It's got to be flicked on or even just let to go forward.
Yeah, so maybe that's like the main point is like the communication of your team, how you're going to play out of the back. Like, if you're going to play out of the back, great, play out of the back, and everybody should be on the same page. If you're going to not, everybody should step up and in, and that should be communication from the goalkeeper probably, right? Yeah. Perhaps a defender.
So I'm looking at a couple. So the first thing I'm noticing is Southeast Polk is making a substitution here.
Correct.
Right? There's 3 players that have come off and 3 that have come on. And if you watch when this goal kick is taken,
Are they? I mean, I know what you're going, Matt. Yeah. Are they off the field /
This third player is
ready?
not off the field. Look at that.
Which means this girl's coming on, or not?
Or probably. I mean, it looks like they're. I mean, I don't think it really matters, but I'm just like this goalkeeper, right? There's no time constraint on her. She's just got to slow it down, right? That's number one, right? And so just slow it down. If you're set up to play short and you don't like the option to go short, then, I mean, first of all, a lot of teams set up like this, right? With the center back splitting the goalkeeper. I don't necessarily like it. It's not how we play. But like, if you're not going to play it short, you've got to get everybody up and in, right? And so, and if you do that, you have one of your center backs marking the player who ends up, getting hit with the ball here in the back. So that's the first. You've got to get up and in, right? And then the second thing here then is, okay, goalkeeper realizes she wins the ball. Now, as the ball travels towards the player who's gotten hit in the back and she tries to win it, there are two players challenging for the ball, the goalkeeper and one of the center backs. So that's the second mistake. Only one player can challenge for the ball here, right? One's got to pressure, one's going to cover. And if you're the goalkeeper, you've got to look left, watch your center back coming to clear the ball, and like you said, Ben, get on your line. That's all you got to do. So then, goalkeeper
if she stays out. Matt, sorry to interrupt you. The right center back has to see the goalkeeper challenging, her partner challenging. Just go to the goal, and cover.
Yeah,
right?
that's like that's your defender brain kicking in there, Siebes.
Totally.
I don't know that wasn't my first thought, right? But you're
goalkeeper comes out. Somebody's got to go to the line in case they get beat.
No, that's actually a really good point.
I mean, the other center back who's coming from, it's our left, but the right-hand side of the goal, as she comes into the screen here, look, she's running just across basically ahead of the 6-yard box, just watching. Like Sieber said, she should be on that line right now. Because if she's on the line, when this ball comes in, look at this. It's just a chip. She can control that ball. The ball bounces literally on the line. And if the goalkeeper is 3 steps back, she also catches the ball. She gets actually a fingertip on it here, it looks like.
The other thing that just maybe is a little bit of a theme from all of our analysis, I guess, for today, is players' ability to control the tempo of the game in the game, and especially when you're the team who is maybe considered not the favorite, right? You're playing against a team that's top ranked, and you're in the game. I mean, even at I don't know what the score was. It looks like it was 4-0. I don't know what the score was at this point in the game.
Second goal.
The second goal. So it's 1-0. So you're still in the game right now. 1-0. You're in the game. So if you can say, okay, well, let's slow this down a little bit, right? Like there's no hurry here. Okay, so let's get up and in. We just made some subs. Great. Okay, now let's hoof it long.
Right.
Right. And the one where the player gets fouled in your game, right? Stand in front of the ball, start communicating with your teammates. There's a lot of stuff and then you're the hero, right? You foul, you slow the game down, you got everybody organized. Mm-hmm. Now you guys you're controlling the tempo as opposed to the other team who's like, let's put the ball down and play.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Wrap it up on that game. Waukee, I think, is going to be good. Again, they compete, they battle, they fight for every single ball. And I would be curious if our buddy James Brook would, the coach of the Waukee, would put the Stella that's in the back up top. They might score 8 goals a game with those two.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's good. Okay.
All right, let's talk boys high school soccer because we got our first rankings of the year out, which, they're very interesting. Because you've only got a small sample set. Obviously, it's early in the season, so some players are coming back, maybe from suspension or whatever. So it might be a little skewed. But you want to talk about results first, or you just want to talk about the rankings, Siebes?
I'll just briefly talk rankings.
Yeah, let's do
Big
that.
class. You got Johnston, Centennial, Prairie, Northwest, Southeast Polk, Roosevelt, and then old 3A from last year, Urbandale in there, and then Kennedy Valley and North. on that side. Or on
Yeah,
that.
some interesting ones. Southeast Polk coming in at number 5. They've had some pretty good results. North with some good results as well, getting their first top 10 ranking in a while, I would guess.
Yep. Then 3A, you got DCG, Xavier, again some of the traditional powers there: Hoover, Marion, Cedar Rapids, Washington, Davenport North, the Indians, as well. Anything there, Ben? Any comments?
No, I was gonna, you stopped at 7, I think, but 8 is Denison.
Yep,
9
there's
is
a reason I-
Norwalk.
Denison,
I know,
yeah, that's
it's
why I
Denison.
stopped
That's
there.
where I'm going to stop. But then 9 is Norwalk and 10 is Pella. And I was just going to say about Norwalk, I just think it's always interesting how, they're not always ranked at the, in the top 2 or 3, but they're kind of always in the top 10, and they're always, waiting. I'm sure we'll see them at state somehow, right? Like they always get there. So it's interesting to see where they're at. And then 2A, you've got Gilbert. Still ranked number 1. I guess not when I say still, they're kind of like the powerhouse of 2A these days. You got Unity Christian number 2, Des Moines Christian number 3, Bishop Heelan 4, Dubuque Wahlert 5, Williamsburg 6, Mount Vernon 7, Perry's ranked 8, and Sioux Center, our last year state champions, ranked 9, and West Liberty at 10. And you want to talk 1A?
Yeah, just real quick. Regina, Trainer, West Sioux, Van Meter, St. Albert, West Central Valley, Western Christian, Pella Christian, North Fayette Valley, and Tipton. A lot of small private schools in there. Some familiar names.
Trainer had a result early on against a 4A school, didn't they?
Trainer did?
Yeah.
They
I
probably
can't
did
remember who
have
it
a
was.
result. I don't know how it went.
Well, good result. I mean, I'm not mentioning it for a bad result.
Well, and just one other thing we wanted to talk about was just we've been loving this account on Instagram because we've been able to follow a lot of the boys' games and get a lot of the goals. So, like from last night's games, so we saw Centennial beat Dowling 6-1, and we were able to see all 3 of Tate Duax's goals for his hat trick. You had Hoover against Roosevelt was 1-1. That was a banger from Hoover to equalize after kind of a blunder from their goalkeeper, and Roosevelt scored on that. What are some of the other results? We had North and Urbandale. Urbandale won 6-1. Waukee Northwest beat Valley.
Yeah.
Urbandale beat North 6-1.
That's right. Ooh. I know that sounds like a. Well,
Didn't
we just
Lincoln
went from.
lose to North 3-0?
That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah, 3A. There's a couple, right? DCG beat Indianola 3-0, and then Norwalk. I lost it. So yeah, Norwalk beat Pella.
Yeah.
We just talked about 6-0.
Well,
So
yeah, and
again,
then
figure it out, right?
the Fighting Kurt Lewises remain undefeated.
What?
Prairie beat Linmar on a penalty.
Are they number 3?
That's right.
And they beat Valley the other day as well.
Yep. So yeah, I think it looks like 4A is kind of wide open, and I totally buried the lead there. I talked about this account we're following on Instagram, but I didn't shout it out for you guys. But if you're looking to keep an eye on stuff, take a look at Wienerberg_sports. So it's like WIENERBERG _sports, and there's some awesome. He puts together these awesome clips. I assume Wienerberg's a guy because he's following guys soccer. He somehow clips all these goals and gives you who scores them and gives you an idea of maybe where they stand in the rankings. So it's a cool little follow. Shout out to Wienerberg Sports. So yeah,
Cool.
we love at Wienerberg Sports and at Go Bound. Those are our 2 main resources. So if you're not following those and you're a high school sports fan, you're probably missing out. So what else you got, boys?
Nothing for me.
All right. Well, we will see you guys again next week. Let us know again, right? If you got anything you want to, if you're a team that you want us to pick apart your clips, we'll happily do so. And, let us know. We'll come out and watch your games. See you soon.